All right, so today we're going to start section 1.2, which is all about points, lines, and planes. All right, so a point is a location. There is no height, there's no depth, there's no width. It's just a single solitary point. And we always use a point name a point using a capital letter. So, example would be point A. We just label with an A. A line is made up of points. There is exactly one line through any 2 points, and every line has 2 points. There is a line that connects any 2 points. Even if it's not drawn, there is a line that does exist that could be made between 2 points. We name lines using 2 capital letters from the 2 of the points on the line, or we use a lowercase letter that appears on the side of the arrow. So for this example, we would have line lowercase m, or we could have line PQ or line QP. You can also indicate a line using a line above the 2 letters with arrows on each side. Very important that you have the 2 arrows. Next thing we want to talk about is collinear points. Collinear means with. Means with. Collinear means the lines are on the same line. They are together, right? You have a co-worker, that is someone you work together with. So points that are collinear are on the same line together. Non-collinear, all right? That's 2 prefixes. Non means not. Co means together. So non-collinear means not together on the same line. So points A, B, and C are obviously collinear. They are together on the same line. 3 non-collinear points would be like D, B, and E, or D, A, and E, or C, B, and D, or C, B, and E, or A, B, and E, or A, E, and C. Lots of different examples there of 3 non-collinear points. Any 3 points that are not on the same line are non-collinear. 2 of them can be in the same line and one not, and it would be non-collinear. A plane is a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. And we name it using a couple of things. We can either use a capital script letter, so like an italics letter that appears in the corner, or we can use 3 letters from 3 non-collinear points. If they are all 3 in the same line, we're not going to think of them as coplanar. We're going to think of them as collinear. So we are looking for non-collinear points. So the way we would label this plane to the right would be either plane K or plane BCD. And it doesn't matter the order. You can call it plane BCD, you could call it plane CBD, you could call it plane DBC, plane DCB. It doesn't matter. You can change it all around. The order of the letters is not important. It does not have to be alphabetical. It doesn't have to be from left to right or top to bottom. Just pick the 3 points that you want to use and go with it. Next, we have coplanar points. Coplanar points, of course, co again means with, together, right? So together on the same plane are points that are coplanar. So P, Q, and R in this example would be coplanar. However, there are also points that are non-coplanar. These are points that are not on the same plane. So if you look at point A, it might be above or below that point. So if you're looking for 3 non-coplanar points, you might say P, R, and A, or A, Q, and P, or A, Q, and R. All right, so as long as we're including an A in that, we have those 3 non-coplanar points. Now let's look here on the back of this page. This figure, we're looking for a line containing point Q. And so you could call that line QT or line QR. You could even call that line C. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could call that line TR. You don't have to include the T. As long as you know that T and R are on the same line, then line Q is included in that line TR. Now, if we're asked to find a plane containing point S and point T. Point S and point T We want to find a plane, so we could do line Q or plane QST. There's also that italicized A in the bottom right corner, so we could call that plane A. You could call that plane SRQ. Lots of different things that we could include. So next, in your notes, the picture of the school supplies looks a little clearer, but we're going to use these. The geometric terms modeled by these objects. So the notebook. Notebook is a plane, and you could call that plane JKL. You could call that plane NJK, NLK, NLJ, whatever. All of those work for the notebook. You could look at the edges of the notebook. Those are lines. So you have line JN, line JK, line KL. All of those, line NL. All of those are the edges of the notebook. If you look at the quarter, that is point M. Point M is the quarter. There's line PR, the pen. The pen is line PR or PQ or RQ. And collinear points there would be PRQ on the pen. Points that are coplanar. You could have the corners of the notebook, like N, J, and K. Some people even would say that, well, the whole desk that this is on, the tabletop, is a plane, so points M, P, and L then would be coplanar, and I see no problem with that. That makes sense to me. So how many planes, number 4, we're moving on to number 4, how many planes appear in that figure? Well, there's plane P, and then there's the 5 planes that make up the pentagonal pyramid there. So the base is a pentagon, the top is a point, so it's a pyramid, and the base is a pentagon, so it's a pentagonal pyramid. So we got plane P, the rectangle, then we have the 5 triangles. Plane CAG, plane GFA, plane EFA, plane DEA, and plane DCA. 4 points that are collinear. Of course, we have HICF, that line that extends between point I and point F. All 4 of those points are on that same line, so they're all collinear. In the intersection of plane GAC and plane P. So if you look at plane GAC, that triangle, and plane P, they intersect at that line there between point G and point C. And so that is line GC, that is the intersection. Planes always, when they intersect, they always form a line. And when 2 planes intersect, they form a line. When 2 lines intersect, they form a point. And where 3 planes intersect, they form a point. So if you notice, point D on that is the intersection of 3 planes. So where 3 planes intersect, they form a point. So moving on to number 7, 3 points that are collinear. All right, so we have options. We could do GHF, that line that's going up. We have AHB, that line that's going across. And we have line DHE. That's another example of collinear points. 3 examples. 3 points that are non-collinear. You could pick lots of options. I picked A, H, and F. Those 3 are non-collinear. You could do F, B, and G. You could do D, A, and G. Right? So lots of options there for non-collinear. 5 coplanar points in plane M. So plane M is that plane that goes from the bottom left to the top right. So 5 coplanar points. So there's point F, D, H, E, and G. And then finally, name a point that lies on the intersection of the 2 planes. Well, on the intersection of the 2 planes would be points D, H, and E. Those are your options. All right, that's it for the notes for lesson 1.2. If you have any questions, please email me or send me a message on Canvas, and I will see you soon.